All right. Can you hear me now? How's the audio level since I moved everything around? Um, is the audio back? It should be back. Okay. So, welcome everybody. As you can see, we've got a little bit different view of the room now. Um, you can sort of see the whiteboard on the wall over here, and I've got some stuff on the old table that I was using as a desk for quite a while that I've still got to finish sorting through and arranging the new desk. But things are coming along nicely. So thank you all for humoring me throughout the week since I haven't got midweek news out yet. It's going to turn into weekend news at this point, and I'll likely record that after this stream is done. So, um, oh, those sticky notes are uh, topics for videos. I think those are all old ones at this point that I can probably take down. I just haven't done that yet. So let's say hi to everybody, and then we'll get into the main topic for the afternoon and see what we can do on getting things moving. So we've got TVJ here, planning your day around the stream, huh? I didn't think I was that famous yet, but I'll take it. And Bella and My C Prince are here. David Grishko, welcome. And of course, Joe is here. And we've got Ezra here as well. Welcome. I'm glad everything is working at this point. So you want to see me touch the ceiling, huh, Joe? There. The ceilings in this apartment are very low, to the point that I've got to be careful when getting dressed in the morning, because if I go up too far to put on a shirt or whatever, I have tore up my knuckles on the textured ceiling that's in my bedroom. That's rather painful. So let's put my other screen up. So add to stage, and we'll take me off for the moment. We have come together today to talk about the good news that is Zentyal version 8.0 being released this week. In my best preacher impersonation. Yeah. When you're up half the night and you don't sleep till the alarm in the morning, this is what you're gonna get. So yeah. So let's see. That is a crazy low ceiling. Yes. All right. So we'll pop back to me for a minute. So just to give you an idea, from the top of my head to the ceiling with my pinky. So that far from my head is the ceiling. So Jay would probably be scraping his head on the ceiling if he's got a couple inches on me. Your best streams are ones that you're mentally altered. Well, I don't know about altered, but semi sleep deprived, likely. Okay, so Zentyal 8.0 came out this week. I have not yet installed it. I purposely saved that until the stream today. So we're going to go through and install, and we'll see about potentially joining a Windows 11 VM to the Zentyal domain when everything is done. So, but just to give you a little information on this, easy Linux alternative to Windows Server. This is based on Ubuntu 22.04.3 LTS. And if we go into release notes, they still have 7.0 from 2021. They told me in the Facebook group that they wanted their website to be perfect upon launch. They didn't even ever put a news item for Zenial Server 7.1, which came out last year, and 8.0 is not up there yet. So, anyway, so to download this, you go to the community page to get the development edition, which was formerly named the community edition. All right. You can get a 15-day free trial of their full-featured, commercially supported version. Of course, there's going to be a price tag on that. And they put it in euros. Last I knew, they were based out of Europe. They're transitioning to at least having an office in the U.S. somewhere on the East Coast, I believe. But 195 euros per server per year, and it's for up to 25 users. Now, I will say that you don't have to buy the client access licenses, the CALs, that you would have to get for a Windows server. But $195 a year is going to be much cheaper. They have a frequently asked questions. For the micro, small, and medium, you can get 1 business day support. Just keep in mind that if you are US based, that time zones are going to be something you'll have to factor into that 1 day of support because, I think they were originally based in Spain, so don't quote me on that, but that's my recollection. All right, so if we jump back to the community page, they've got a link here, download Zenial Development Server. So you can right-click on that and you can copy the link. If you click download, it will download to your computer. And if you're a Proxmox user, you can come to download from URL, paste in the URL, and download it directly to your Proxmox server. I've already done this to save some time and bandwidth. So we are going to go ahead and jump into the install process. So if we create VM, Zentyal 8, select our OS, system, we'll worry about the QEMU agent later. The defaults are fine for what we want to do. We're going to give it a little bit of breathing space. We'll give it 50 gigs and 8 cores should be enough. And 8 gigs of RAM, bridge 0, and we'll go ahead and start this after it has been created. So we're going to be number 106, go to the console, and it gives you different options. You can install with no GUI. Oh, excuse me. So you can install this with a GUI, without a GUI. There's an expert mode. I'm just going to go straight 8.0. And we'll see how this might be different from installs of previous versions. So far, it looks like your standard Ubuntu install. So all right, pretty standard server installer, English. And selecting continue will begin installation. All right, so we've got a little bit of time while that's doing its thing. So I'll bring myself up here and let that install on the side. So let me see what's going on in chat while we're waiting. I found the version 7 ISO on my machine yesterday. Okay, so Zentyal is a Windows Server replacement built on top of Ubuntu Server. It has Samba for Active Directory, so you can join Windows machines to a domain running on Linux. You don't have to buy the client licenses like you would with a Windows server. And it gives you management options through a web interface, or for many of the settings, you can use the Microsoft's RSAT tools. Remote Server Administration Tools is what that stands for, I believe. And so basically you can run a domain, you can configure your users, you can do file sharing, you can do basically everything you do with a Windows server, but it's based on Linux and it doesn't have the licensing priced as high as a Windows server. Where I would use this is home labs, small businesses that don't require Windows Server for specific software. Also for nonprofits, it's very handy. So that is a little bit about Zentyal. I've been following this since, I don't know, version 4 maybe. Maybe it was version 5, somewhere in there. And yeah, it doesn't have the hardware requirements that Windows Server does. So you could grab an old Dell Optiplex or a Lenovo ThinkCenter or an HP ProDesk, and you could run it as a server at home or in a small business. Of course, you want to make backups. Don't think this is a magic solution, but if your needs are basically to be able to manage users and join Windows machines to a domain, then this isn't bad. Think of the plebes here. Yep. No cals equals. Yep. Okay. Software Saturday makes sense. Yeah, Joe, what'd you think of that thumbnail? I let the AI come up with the image for that. Let's see. A Windows Server replacement that runs on Linux. Is this just for anti-Windows people? No. I'd say if you're in an organization, a small organization with a tight budget, then it's not a bad thing. The only times that software can be an issue is when a vendor later down the line of this being deployed comes and tries to install software that depends on an actual Windows server. Yes, you're absolutely correct. So when I first arrived at the library and took over the technology coordinator position, they had Kaspersky antivirus in house, which I did not really like. It was a giant pain in my rear. And the group of libraries decided that they wanted to more or less standardize on CloudStrike Falcon. So we jumped on the opportunity to get that, which is very nice, and the reporting is so much better than what Kaspersky was, and it does have a learning curve, but it's been pretty solid for us. I wish they would not push the rapid UI changes that they've done, but you know, keeps you on your toes, right? What features are missing from this compared to Windows Server? So the big thing that is going to be different. You're not going to have true Exchange. You've got an Exchange. I guess it's emulated Exchange server for mail, but who in their right mind wants to do in-house email these days, anyways? I'm sure there are other things. It's been a little while since I played with this, but it does say. Now let me switch this out. That let me. Nope. Okay, so let's go back to this screen again. It does have your central domain and directory management, user security groups, distribution lists, and contacts. All this, all the finer points for directory and domain. You can do mail on it if you are a little crazy or uber paranoid. Does support Mozilla Thunderbird for a client. Has webmail, single sign-on authentication, does your standard gateway stuff, network configuration, routing, gateway, etc. And yeah, there are a lot of boxes that are ticked that place it more or less on par with Windows Server. The big thing, like David Grishko mentioned, is if you've got a line of business type software, that requires a true Windows server. So one of the things that I've been trying to do at the library is move us away from that requirement. And at this point, I'm basically there. So we've got two Windows servers at the library. One is the physical machine is running Server 2016, and the virtual server is running Windows Server 2019. And for whatever reason, my predecessor decided it was a good thing to run VMware Workstation on Server 2016 in order to get the Server 2019 machine on there. Yeah. So, yeah, this is um, not a bad piece of software to work with. Um, let's see. Let's see where our progress is at. Still waiting for some updates there, it looks like. Can we do this view again? Let's see. Anything else in chat? Um, doesn't have all the features of Active Directory. This runs a 2008 R2 Forest level, I believe. I think you're right on that. I'm not entirely sure on this new version because it just came out this week and I've not gone through all the documentation on it. So I would love to run a domain at home so I have unified user access to my servers. Yes, that's one of the things I'm looking at doing potentially with this. And I've got a couple of those. The small size, the 1 liter size HP Pro Desk machines that I may run a physical version of this on for a longer term evaluation. CrowdStrike Falcon sensor is so lightweight. Let's see. Should the average person do CrowdStrike over Windows Defender? No, it's not really necessary. CrowdStrike is more business level. But there are requirements that the library has to meet, and having a virus software on the machines is one of those requirements. And I need a way to be able to track it instead of running around to 20 something odd machines and trying to check on them individually. So CrowdStrike is amazingly good and light. Yep. Let's see. Should we buy a group CrowdStrike with this group? Might be interesting to at least see what the pricing would look like. If I ever need a domain, I have my Synology that can be a domain controller. Uses the same Samba software that Zentyal uses. Yes, probably a different version. I'm not sure what version is running on the Synology. I'm just, I don't know. I would rather, my personal feeling is I would rather run it separately from my Synology. Um, just because for me it would be easier to get it back up and running if something happened to it. If my Synology takes a nosedive on me, then I'm going to have to wait longer to get that back up and going if I have to order parts or drives or whatever for it. So welcome. Let's see. I know that my group supports 2,500 users, and CrowdStrike can have issues, especially with it interfering with Excel, saving files. Yeah, we don't really use Excel. We at the library, I mean, we've only got 6 staff. We've got under 30 computers, and as we've rolled out the new computers last year and this year, we have moved away from Microsoft Office due to the licensing. And where they used to give special pricing to libraries and other nonprofits, they're not doing such as easily anymore. Let's see. CrowdStrike can block a lot of things you actually want. Yes, and there is an exception system that you can build those things into so you don't have issues. 1 liter soda server, yes. Let's see. Building out my office. I already ordered things and we'll try out streaming soon. Looking at Tuesday nights. All right. Let's see. Don't you use deep freeze or similar? How does that interact with CrowdStrike? So on the public computers, yes, we do use deep freeze. On the staff computers, we do not. And I have not had any issues with CrowdStrike on the machines that are using it. All right, so let's take that off and bring this back up full screen since it's restarting and see what we might get. Bunch of cloud init stuff happening, and looks like maybe some more updates are going on. So we'll drop that back over there for the moment. Let me see. Running in a VM somewhere that I can migrate it somewhere else. Should be hardware agnostic. Yeah, I've just not done much with the VMs on my Synology, and I'd really want to max out the RAM before I did anything like that. TechSoup is a giant pain in the ass. So they make you pay for the ability to get a discount, and then the discount isn't even that great, and it's just a bunch of hoops to jump through. It's a pain in the ass. What are you using at the library for Office? Most of the staff is using just straight Google Docs. Myself, I've got LibreOffice on my machine. I still like to work offline. Yeah, I know that if I need to collab, I can start a document on my local machine and I can upload it to Google Docs, and then everybody can collab on it. It's not a big deal. So how do you separate the public computers and stop issues? So the staff computers are attached to Active Directory. The public computers are not. The public computers are also separated onto their own VLAN. No, CrowdStrike does not scan on every reboot. Because it collects things like the MAC address and different things like that when you're getting the agent installed for CrowdStrike. So in the dashboard, the CrowdStrike dashboard, I've got all that information. So between the MAC address and the PC name, it's been a great system. Deep freeze is great for workstations that you don't want anyone to change. Yes, absolutely. What do the patron PCs use for Office? LibreOffice. On the ones that I've recently replaced, the which are the adult machines, the 5 adult machines, the 5 kids machines that will be replaced later this year, still have Office 2016 on it, but I kind of cringe at using anything that old myself. So when we redo those machines, maybe starting in August, they will have LibreOffice on them. Most of the kids these days are using Google Docs anyways. They're required to for school. A lot of them are issued Chromebooks anyways. Usually they come to the library to play games, Roblox and whatever else they can play in a browser that doesn't set off alarms for us. Any complaints from patrons who are used to Microsoft Office? I had one gentleman in yesterday that he knows I'm the technology coordinator and ultimately have a lot of say in this realm when it comes to these things. And he didn't like the way something was formatted in LibreOffice, but it was because the machine did not have the same font that he used to create the document. That was the large part of it. When I explained to him that the reasoning we don't have it currently is because of budgetary issues, he seemed all right with it. But once I have the 5 kids' computers replaced, I am contemplating getting licenses for the 5 adult machines at least for Microsoft Office 21 or 25 or whatever the heck is out by then when we go to do that. If I'm not mistaken, CrowdStrike looks at activities like UAC prompts or anything that gets saved, hence issues with Excel when saving. That could be. Like I mentioned, we're not using Excel anymore, so and none of the staff really did. I probably used it more than anybody. Regarding the public computers, is there an acceptable use policy that users have to agree to? Yes. Have you run into any cases of crimes being committed using those public computers? No, not yet. The worst thing that I've seen so far is minors trying to access Pornhub. So yes, they actually did try to do that. Ashley thought you said you are the technology coroner. Oh geez. Well, at least she has a sense of humor. All right. I'm going to change things a little bit. I'm going to put the Proxmox back up on the screen, and I'm going to lower the desk so I can sit for the next few minutes anyways. And we will continue on with our look at Zentyal. All right. So I've got to readjust monitors just a bit. One thing I didn't really settle into when didn't really calculate into this when I got the standing desk and decided to do this standing. And David's laughing at me being the technology coroner. I suppose I have taken some of the old technology home from the library, so I guess in some ways you could legitimately call me that. I use eBay, never use Pornhub. Standing desk for the win. Yep, monitor change when sitting or standing. Yep. Thankfully, they're on arms, so it's fairly easy to adjust. Okay, so let's see. Maybe I can pop this console out. Hey, look at that. Okay, so at least that's bigger. So we go to advanced and let's see. Error code, Mozilla, self-sign cert. Well, that's fine. Of course, they're going to do it that way. Well, okay, let's try something else. This is $232. There we go. So we get our familiar initial setup wizard. This doesn't look like it's changed too much. Continue. And this is where you start selecting things that you're going to use. I'll do DNS and firewall. And we'll start install the cert authority. It actually has Docker now. I think that's a new addition compared to the old version. FTP. Sure, let's just have some fun with this. Radius. Could integrate that with my Wi-Fi, VPN, virtualization manager. I think that may be a new addition as well. All right, so let's try those and we'll see what else it tells us we need to install. Following packages will be installed. So that all looks good. And now we wait again. Let's see. I hear your stomach making noises. If you need to pause the stream, we understand. No, I probably ate lunch too close to the stream, but yeah, that's all it is. I made ramen for lunch. Your mic is too good. Well, I hope so for the price I paid for the Shure SM7B. I'm starting to like my standing desk at work. Yeah, I like this. I like that it's like 63 inches wide. It's not as deep as the table I was using, so things are a little bit different as far as my monitors, but I may make some additional adjustments for that as well. So, but anyways, I think more or less things are working out fairly well. I've still got some cable management to do. I got probably 80% of it done before the stream, and just need a few things cleaned up a little bit to make it that much better. So I remember at work, everyone got sit-stand desks. All you hear for the first 2 weeks is the motors going up and down 10 times a day. Yeah. When I worked for a Fortune 500 insurance company that's based in this area, not far from me, we ended up getting sit-stand desks as well in our cubicles, and that was quite a a change at the time. And this is, let's see, this fall, I'll have been gone from that job for 10 years. So this is probably like 12 years ago. And it was quite a change going into that particular group of the company because we were some of the first to get those. We were so new to it that some of them were electric and some of them were crank. So, um, unfortunately, at this point, the electric ones are more common than the crank variety, at least in the price point that I was looking at. I think I almost would have been happier with a crank desk, but we'll see how the motor in this one holds out. So, no, we did not have gas powered motors on the standing desk. Um, just a manual crank on some of them, and um, others had. I think some of those may have been dual motor desks at the time, but they were um, like corner desks, so I think they almost had to be. All right, so configure interface type. Um, yeah, so we're going to leave internal for that. Now you can set IP addresses and networks for each interface. That's fine. Yeah, standalone server. This is good. We'll do finish and let it do the rest of this. So let's see. All right. They've got even resellers for some of this stuff. So I'm really optimistic that Zentyal is going to get some of their little kinks worked out. Not as far as the server software itself, but as far as things like their website and their messaging and as a company putting up a more unified front on when things are coming out, how to talk about features, talking with creators in the YouTube space and other places that might be willing to be resellers or at least talk about their software so the word gets out. It's a little discouraging that they don't seem to have this quite figured out yet. Do you have noise suppression on in StreamYard? I don't know. I do not. I should probably turn that on and echo cancellation. Um, and that might help a little bit. Is this any better? Is this better or worse? Providing that changes are actually happening in the background. Um, so hybrid where you can drive 50 to 70 miles and have gas kick in is the best combo. Sounds different. Way better. Okay. Well, since I don't have a mixer, I've just got an audio interface. Um, I don't have controls on that end. So hopefully things are all right. I don't hear your ramen anymore. Har har. Always the joker. All right. Well, their little slideshow is working, but current operation still says starting and loading. So let's take that off screen for a few minutes. All right, I guess I need to put that monitor down just a little bit more. As I mentioned, I've got a few things that I want to still change around in here. Obviously, this table on my right side is going to go away. Um, Some of the stuff behind me is going to go away. I may move the desk closer to this back wall, but yeah. Um, so far, I'm kind of liking this change, a little different view, and then I actually have the potential to look out my window that's behind this monitor, behind where the camera is. I normally just have the blackout blinds blocking off the light, um, so this will be a little bit different. Um, Probably do something different with the lighting behind me. I'm not sure if that's really helping at all, but the lighting is one thing that I wasn't able to spend a lot of time on before the stream started. So we'll probably have to um, take that into a members only video at some point, live stream at some point, and maybe we can all hash out the lighting and get it honed in a little bit. Is the desk new? Yes, I just finished building it about 4 o'clock this morning. I purchased it in no October or November. I caught a sale on the Amazon, and I just I had been hoping to get help to build it, and um, it took me a while to build it because I'm finding I don't like being down on the floor working on my knees as much anymore. So um, I did it over the course of several evenings this week, and last night or early this morning, I guess you could say, was putting the final screws in and tightening everything down and flipping the thing upright. So, but yeah, this is, I believe it's 63 inches wide, but I think it's only 30 deep. So it's different. I've got uh things on different sides, like the audio interface and the ATEM Mini Pro were both on the right side, and I've got the audio interface on the right and the ATEM on the left. My Mac Mini is on the right now, and actually on this desk instead of on another table. So this, just having the extra width has given me so much more room to have stuff, and I don't have like a um, rat's nest of cables in front of me anymore. I got a lot of cable management done before the stream, Could still use some work, but regarding the desk motor, it's usually the two-way switch that goes wrong, either electronic or relays that can cause trouble. Relays are too light and nothing to reduce sparks and arcing and carbon buildup. Yeah, and that's one of the problems with electric um, sit stand desks versus crank ones. Um, Especially these. Um, it was supposed to be a brand name desk. I'm not so sure they shipped me exactly what I ordered, or at least the packaging didn't indicate the company name on it. So I don't know. It's a starter sit stand desk, and we'll use it until she goes belly up, and then we'll figure out something different. Um, Unfortunately, they've got the control hardwired into the motor, rather than having it connect via a I don't know, a junction of some sort, and have the detachable cables. But we'll see how it holds up. My desk is going to be 72 inches wide, so I bought a sit stand frame supporting 300 pounds, and we'll use a wood countertop for the surface. I'll have to do a lot of prep work to stain and seal it. Yeah, um, that's the one thing that I'm not terribly impressed on with this. I think I would have been better off going a similar route, and just buying a countertop from Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, and doing the finish work. Of course, now they don't have a garage to work in. I improvised a little bit. So I have a kneeling mat and knee pads for that kind of work. Tears up your knees on hardwood, especially. Yes. So what I did is, since I don't have pads, I grabbed a towel that's folded, and I used that under my knees, and it helped immensely last night or this morning, depending on how you want to look at it. um, on the motor, is there any way of connecting a crank? No, unfortunately, there's not. Um, Unfortunately, there's not. So, uh, if slash when I go to purchase another one of these, I'm going to look at something a little higher end. This particular desk was under $200, so I wasn't expecting a whole awful lot with it, but it was enough to get the width of the desk I wanted, and um, know a little bit more of what I want to look for when I buy a longer term desk, I guess we could say. All right, there are 10 people watching today. That's pretty good. So let's take a look at what Zentyal is doing. And it's still stuck on that same screen. So I'm going to live dangerously, and I'm going to try to reload this and see what might happen. Hmm. Well, It's only using 1.19 out of 7, well, 8 gigs really. It says 7.75, but um, well, that's not bad. It doesn't appear anything is zombied. We might just have to wait it out a while longer. But it appears stuck. So we'll just take that off screen for a little while longer. Um, I joined a few minutes late at the start. Is this a different room or just a different angle? It's a different angle. So the table I had before would have been turned 90 degrees. So I would have been facing that whiteboard on this wall over here. So this is just trying to make better use of the room I've got. And um, still I've got some dead space in front of the desk because I've got to have room for the light that's in front of me. I'm bouncing the light off the ceiling because I don't want the glare on my glasses. So that takes up a little extra room. And maybe in the spring, I will be able to afford some different lighting and have some additional flexibility. If I can get something that's bright enough but takes up less space. So that's going to be the trick, is to get that combination without breaking the bank in the process. But I know people, I know other tech people, especially Joe, that has a lot of this equipment dialed in on his end, and can probably make some good recommendations to me. So I'll get with you, Joe, offline, and have a chat about that. So we may or may not get to demo Zentyal today. I guess I should have done a test install before the stream, because this is not cooperating with me. This is very much not cooperating with me. But that's all right. We'll improvise a little bit. So I guess one of the things that I do have planned for this um, is to use the user management functionality in Zentyal, and join a um, Open Media Vault server to it to handle the users. This is something I've never tried before. I think it can make for an interesting stream, but yeah, it's again a work in progress, and it's all about, for me, it's about trying to start tying more of these things together. Yes, that'll add complexity, but um, you know, you got to push your boundaries a little bit just so you can learn new things, right? I'd like to see more light on your face. See, that's tough to do when you wear glasses, and uh, trying to avoid the glare in my glasses. If you've got some magic trick to make that work, I'm all about it. But With the lights I've got, if I point things more towards my face, or even come down from overhead, the glare on my glasses is pretty bad. So, um, but I'm open to options as far as being able to come up with a way to do that. Hmm. Well, let's see what this is doing. Okay, so let's see what we've got. Um, we just need the light to be super diffuse, giant softbox. Yeah, unfortunately, that's a tough one with the low ceilings. Um, um, especially since the ceiling in front of me it slants with the roof, so going to be hard when standing, but sitting, if you get the lights as high as they will go and off to the side on a 45-degree angle. Um, yeah, a softbox will help. So the lights I've got right now, I've got one that's a ring light that has it's LED. It's got the plastic sort of diffuser thing on it, and then the lights behind me, or the one light behind me, is um, also LED with one of these slide out diffuser plastic jobs. Inexpensive lighting, but um, up to this point, it's worked for me. Um, so I just need to figure out something different, and uh, hopefully that doesn't break the bank and get something ordered. Let's see. It seems to be cooperating on the server itself. And that's on 229 now. That would be why. um, do it. That would do it. It jumped to a different IP address. Let's see. Square LED panels that fit into ceiling tile squares or larger can be quite cheap and produce a flat softbox. I'll have to take a look at those. That backlight makes a big difference. Yeah, this is the first time I've done a light in back of me in this room, and I'm a little surprised at the difference it makes as well. um, Throw a white pillowcase on the ring light. Well, I'll have to uh, I'll have to go buy a white pillowcase. But that's a good suggestion. With it being LEDs, it shouldn't get that hot. The closest thing I've got, I think I might have a yellow pillowcase right now, but that's that's the closest thing I've got. So let's just bring that on full screen. All right, so this jumped to a different IP address. But it did appear to install. Looks like modules are uh, set up. There's a couple of them that are showing as disabled, and the cert authority was not created. So I've got some potential troubleshooting to do on this. But this is um, see what this is all about. You know, just a link to the updating an existing version. We're already on the latest version. So we go into module status. Um, Domain controller and file server. Let's get this turned on. Accept. And save changes. And we'll just go to save. We'll leave radius alone for the time being. I just want to see this completely up and running at a bare minimum before we end the stream. It's only been an hour and 7 minutes. We'll probably go until we hit the 2 hour mark. And I guess while we're waiting on that, we can always take a look at the Amazon. So with something like this, um, Mountain Dog softbox lighting kit, would this help my cause? Or should I be looking at something a little pricier to have it last longer? It's LED based. And I don't know. That don't buy that light kit. All right. Uh, is there a certain price range I should be looking in, Joe? Um, we can chat. Okay. Well, we'll have to talk. I know you've suggested a couple things, and I had a little bit of sticker shock, but I'll if those were the best things to go for, then I will do some budgeting so that later in the spring I can make a purchase. Hopefully. Oh, there's a lot of lighting kits out there, though. Photography lighting kit. I'm sure they go up drastically in price. I don't know. Let's oh, holy crap. $7,500 with the green screen and the whole 9 yards. Well, that's quite a jump. From $4,000 to 70. Wow. Maybe I don't know, B H might be uh, these are interesting. So apparently the softbox part is a separate piece from the lighting part in some of these cases. Interesting. um, let's see. Traditional lighting techniques call for 3-point lighting, a key light, a fill light, and a rim light. Key is brightest and points on one side of the face. Fill is opposite, rim is behind. Okay. All right. Lighting that is straight on is bad news. You want it to come from above and at an angle. Yeah, and that if I've got to have it come from above, that's going to limit my options in the room with such low ceilings. If I were to move everything downstairs, uh, I'd have more options because the ceilings are much higher down there. um, if you were to get a Godox light with a Bowens mount and softbox, uh, Godox mount, so that's the soft box itself. And probably have to have a separate light. Yeah, we'll have to chat after the stream at some point. Um, if you want to soften the light, get a flat screen TV that is not working. Take off the front and inside are several layers of plastic that are diffusers. Some are very fine, rough, and one white. Interesting. Ah, let's see. Ah, interesting. Heat dissipation and noise control. All right. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be price wise. Let's add that to a list. Well, I'm not signed in. I'll come back to that later. All right. My experienced filmmaker. And this one, DEU or FDMC. Ah, okay. That's not bad. Definitely gives me something to go on. Definitely gives me something to go on. Um, you really want above at least slightly. You straight on want a softbox, so it's not harsh lighting, right? Okay. And then let's see what this is. The stands to go with it. All right. Definitely got a little bit of budgeting to do, but not bad. Could use Cree with filters. All right. Rectangular softbox will allow you to get it higher than the octagon. Okay. By the YouTube video. Okay. Well, that gives me something to go on for sure. Let's jump back to Zentyal for a few minutes. Thank you, everybody, for making the suggestions on lighting. Again, this is all a work in progress. Um, I think my lighting has got better over the last few years, but that's been from bouncing light off walls and ceilings and playing with things. But it really could use another upgrade. And then the lighting I've got, I can take down to Studio B for the odd case that I'm downstairs and doing something. I'm not going to take that uh, area down just yet, but um, I kind of want to relocate it to a different part of the downstairs. So we'll see how that pans out. You would only need one stand, but that's a two pack. Could probably find one cheaper. Well, buying a two pack isn't necessarily a bad thing because if I buy only one soft box now, I can always buy a second one later on to use downstairs. So um, that would not be a bad thing. I'm just not going to buy it all at once. So softbox will make a huge difference. You can use the ring light as your fill light on low. Yeah. I'm still surprised at what difference this light behind me is making in this room. I'm sure if it were after dark local time, it would make an even bigger difference. So yeah, it'll it'll be interesting to see what we can do with this and get a get a softbox in here. All right, so we've got um, module status, everything except for radius is enabled now. System gives you basic things that you would expect. My account is an administrator. Um, I do want to make a couple notes here. Uh, just we'll play with a Windows machine here for a little bit. Um, and see what we can do with it. So, all right. That's good there. Um, Under software management, we've got Zentyal components. And some of these are untested community updates that may harm your system. That's why this is being done for testing purposes at the moment. Users and computers. So domain admins. Um, okay, that's interesting. So we've got administrator there. Directory name. Okay, so I'm gonna have got administrator, which pretty sure does not have a password set. No, it's got a name set. All right, and then I'm going to add my own user in here. And okay. Domain admins, we're going to add me in here as well. See if it pops up a save at the top and doesn't appear to be. Okay, so we've got the basics up and going. So now we should be able to come over here and fire up the Windows machine, which keeps going into hibernate mode, even though I've disabled hibernate. We'll see what we can do with this. Let's see. I drove 40 minutes to install some software, and the software isn't here. Oh my gosh. That sounds like an awful way to spend a Saturday. Light behind you separates you from the wall. In the pro world, we always light the background, just as important as lighting the foreground. All right, that's good to know. I'm by no stretch a pro in this world when it comes to audio, video stuffs. And I want to see you join a computer to the domain. Well, that's what we're going to do next. Probably need to correct the time zone on this thing first. Provided it starts up. Let's see. Adjust date and time. Probably in Pacific time. Yep, that's the problem. I should be happier now. Okay, so then we need to go to, probably need to Just want to see something here first. Okay, so I can ping that. That's good. Let's set DNS to 229, which is our Zentyal server. And then if we come into system and about and advanced system properties, where all right, I do believe that's what I want, to rename this computer or change domain or work group. There we go. Domain. And this is where I need my notes that I created. Oop, not that. Let's put it in. There we go. And we want a little luck. Welcome to the Zentyal domain.lan domain. You must restart your computer to apply these changes. Restart now. While it's restarting, we can come over here and refresh. And here we go. Under computers, we've got the desktop. It's just a VM, so I didn't even rename it. So we have, in fact, joined that. But while we're here, let's add another user because we'll let's see. We'll put Martin Short in a group, not domain admins. We'll leave it out of a group for the moment. It should just end up in users because Martin is not going to be an admin. So if our Windows machine came up correctly, we can say other user, and it does in fact have Zentyal domain listed there. Martin Short. And Martin Short is logging in. So I would say this looks like it's going to be correctly joined to the domain. And yeah, so far so good. And with base configuration on the Zentyal server, which I know you can go a whole lot deeper than what we did today, but with base configuration, we are in fact able to join the Windows machine. So, and it's only been an hour and a half since we started the stream. We've done an install and base configuration of Zentyal, and we've joined a Windows 11 VM to the domain. So let's put me back on screen. So we'll do that view. And let's see. Terrell's here. Welcome. Having an issue. I installed Windows Server 2022 in Proxmox. Can't figure out how to map a network drive, and everything I find on Google is how to make a network drive. Um, I haven't used 2022 lately. So there's a couple ways you can do it, I'm pretty sure. If anybody that uses Windows Server on a regular basis wants to chime in on this one, please let me know. But the newest Windows Server I've got at the library is 2019. Um, so I'm probably not going to be completely accurate on it. Um, but we'll see what we can do here, maybe. Was DNS pre-configured before the stream for the domain join demo? No. So I purposely left that VM was just straight DHCP. The only thing I changed was to change it so that it would see the domain server, the Zentyal server, as DNS. But DHCP is still being handled by my OpenSense box. All right. So David's asking for more information from Terrell. Let's see. That is right. It has to be the DNS server for any computer on the domain. Right. Right. Yep. I've played with this. I've done different little experiments with Zentyal in the past. I want to take this a little further this time. And what I might do is I might just take and I might see if I can just do like a RescueZilla backup of this install and deploy it to one of those mini, those 1 liter HP machines I've got. How would an existing user account work after joining the domain? So that would still exist as a local user account um, that they could log into. So, um, let me go full screen on this again. So if I were to log out of Martin Short, sign out, then I come in here. So Martin Short is going to have be on the domain. If you go to other user, if you do, what is my user ID on this? If you do your user at localhost, let's see. I know there's a way to do it. Basically, you override the domain and you can still log into the local account. Honestly, this is something I haven't done in a while, so um, I don't know as though I've ever done it with Windows 11. So, but yeah, there is a way to do that. Um, but yeah, I'd have to figure out what. Um, let's see. Pretty sure. Well, that's a good question. Let's do we'll do it this way. Administrator. I spelled the name wrong. Um, what my username was. I thought I was typing it right, but we'll see. So hopefully this has been somewhat useful for people. That was kind of my reason for doing it. Oops, let's bring that back up again. There we go. SPC users. Okay, so my account, my local account is just my first name. That explains that. All right. It doesn't like something, and I know that's the right password. Anyway, enough of that nonsense for now. Let's see what else we can do with this. I go into map and network drive and type the path to the drive, and I get an error that you can't view the network. Contact your administrator. I am logged in as administrator. That's an error I have not seen. Existing accounts will still exist locally, so you can still log in with / account name. Okay, that might be where I'm going wrong. Let's try that again. / Yep. I know once upon a time you could do username at localhost and it would work. Maybe they've changed some things. Let's see. Are you being prompted for credentials? Is the Windows server hosting a domain? Gotcha. Standalone. So I would have to make myself a new profile for my laptop. Potentially, there are ways to copy things between the profiles. So you could do that. That's not something I've done with Windows 11. Because, like, for instance, when I migrated the library staff to Windows 11 machines, we got new machines. So we didn't, we copied files over, but not full profiles from 10 to 11. Not prompting for any credentials. Yep. Thank you for that, David. I'd forgotten about that method. My NAS is set up so no passwords are required. That's the issue. Windows Server does not allow guest authentication by default. Interesting. Go to Credential Manager in Windows Server and add your server username as guest and no password. You can then access and map the shares. Nice. Very nice. All right. With a little luck, knock on press board. With a little luck, I am hoping to be able to demo especially upon release of Ubuntu 24.04 in another uh, month and a half. I'm hoping to demo joining Ubuntu to a domain as well. I've had sort of mixed luck with that over the years and different versions of Ubuntu desktop, but I think it will be interesting to see what can be done with that and with integrating Open Media Vault in, and who knows, maybe we'll have a look at Sigma NAS and TrueNAS Scale as well. Even if they end up being virtual machines, we'll still have a run with them and see how all that works out. So I'm going to bring myself full screen again. Let's see. We'll have to try that. I've tried putting the link to the video, but it gets blocked. Yeah, I've got to see if there's a way I can unblock that capability just for members. There's too much spam. I don't generally have that open. So, excuse me. Been talking too long. um, Let me see if I can't. How can I do that? Something here. Um, Let me try something. Maybe I can set up something here real quick. Manage email. And okay, so let's do. Okay, so this email I can give out without an issue. Um, so this email will just forwards to um, my main business email. So um, all right, that'll work. And Tony's in the house. Welcome. Let's see. We did it years ago at work and I loved it. Yeah. Um, let's see. All right, we are up to 13 people watching. Lucky number 13. So we'll go for another 12 minutes, hit the 2 hour marker, and then we'll start thinking about wrapping it up. Oh, I can leave that email in there because that forwards to one of my main business account. I'm not worried about this one being out there. Because push comes to shove, I can always change it. In worst case scenario. So, but I just needed to verify which emails I had created and which ones forward where. So, um, love the new camera angle. Thank you. Um, I'm I feel like I should be a little higher in the frame, but um, that's in part going to be figuring out the proper presets for the sit stand desk. Um, and go from there. And Mr. Joe has hooked me up with the links for some lighting for a softbox system, and hopefully that will improve the lighting up here. So, because my ceiling is too low to have the this ring light high enough to face down on me. Will your new domain have email? I will probably have email at that domain. Whether I use whether I use the hosted email or if I just have it forwarded to another email account I've already got, I haven't decided yet. But I will likely be doing something with that. Um, who do you use for email? So my business email, since it's such a small volume currently, is all through my hosting provider that does my website hosting currently. And I'm hosting with DreamHost at the moment. Although I am um, not opposed to switching away from them. I've thought about doing a Gmail backend for my business email, but I've uh, I've never pulled the trigger. I don't really want to pay extra for the email. The more I play with Proxmox, the more I like it. Yep, I've been using Proxmox for about 5 years now, and I'm always discovering something new with it. It's been very useful for me, especially doing a YouTube channel because I can have the server sitting in the other room now, and um, it's been great. It's been great. I'll email after the stream. It will be from my channel name, public email. Gotcha. Proxmox is awesome. Yes, yes, and um, they don't try to screw over the users like Broadcom has done. So we have 17 people watching this stream. That's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Um, I'm real happy with the way this turned out. Little hiccup with the install for Zentyal, but that came down to it jumping from one IP address to another, and I probably could have prevented that by just going into OpenSense and giving it a static lease. So that's not the end of the world. Instagram can be a way of having a contact for small business or YouTube creators. Yeah, I don't use the Instagram much, but I do have I started putting together a Facebook group, but I really hate Facebook lately, so I don't know if I will continue experimenting with that or if I'll just delete it. Um, I would almost at this point prefer to have a referral over to Willie Howe's community because I know a lot of you guys are also watching Willie's videos, which I absolutely recommend and will endorse him with no questions. He's been doing this longer than I have, I believe. Um, at least he's made a lot more content than I have. So, yeah, if you haven't checked out Willie's community, please do that. Hell of a good dude, and um, you know, it's a cool place to hang out. A lot of interesting people over there. So, XCPNGs and Orchestra is great too. I like it better in a lot of ways. Um, yeah, I'm kind of waiting for Zen Orchestra Lite to come out of beta. And I really kind of want to give XCPNG a go again, just to see what's changed in the 3 or so years that have gone by since I've used it. Maybe 4, maybe longer than that. I honestly don't remember. Um, I know I used it for a while, and um, yeah, I'd have to play with it again just to see. Right now, for my uses, Proxmox does everything I need, um, and with minimal fuss on the maintenance side of it. I don't necessarily like the idea of having to pay for Zen Orchestra or having to compile the source myself in order to keep it going. But um, when Zen Orchestra Lite is out of beta, I'll have to give it another shot, even if it's just as a nested virtualization attempt. 17 people. Yes, yes. I was a little surprised at that number. We've dropped a few since, but yeah, it's interesting. We have 4 domains, 2 with email. They're spread over multiple places, so I want to consolidate it down to one place. Yeah. Your own Discord. So I'm not a huge Discord fan, but what I did set up, what was the name of that? Set up, what's the back end of this called? I've got an app called Element on the Mac. I forget what the back end of this is. I have not been Matrix. I have not been spending much time on it. Um, I tried to at first, but um, it's been a little while. So I don't know. I'm um I'm open to doing something. I'm not quite at a place where I can do a community like Willie's got quite yet. I don't like Facebook. Have a page and direct to website or YouTube. Instagram is feasible with link to YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Instagram. It's all under that Facebook hierarchy. Um, let's see. Just received 64 gig more RAM to add to my Proxmox. Now I'm set for all the labs. Yep, Matrix is the back end. Um, Members only chat somewhere. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I'll have to spruce up the matrix stuff a little bit, but then I can put a members only um link out in a future live stream, and then we can chat on that after the live streams or whatever. Um, I just need to figure out how I can lock that down. There's a GitHub script that will install and update Zen Orchestra for you. That's good to know, Jay. The last time I used XCPNG, there was not that script available yet. So I guess that tells you how long it's been since I've used XCPNG. Mm, Pull this up on screen. Um, oh yes, here we go. Zen Orchestra installer updater. Um, 6 years ago. Okay, so maybe it's been more like 7 years since I used CBNG, and that would track because um, the last time I was teaching was spring of 2018, and it was before that. So yeah, it could be like 7 years since I last used XCPNG. So um, but I'll throw this in chat just in case anybody else wants the location for that. Um, prefer live streams, not Discord. Yeah, so it would be something in addition to the live streams, and it would be more for chat functionality, not video. Um, so, um, but that's that. So, all right. Final call out for questions, comments, anything of that nature before we wrap up. I need a break from talking. So let's see. It is 53 freedom units where I'm at to use Unky Joe's terminology. um, so, all right. I think this went relatively well today. We got through what I wanted to cover. Installing Zential Small Business Server, again, Linux based, Ubuntu Linux based, replacement for Windows Server for um, small business, nonprofits, what have you. Um, I'm pretty impressed with it. I see they've made a few changes from the previous versions, and I'm going to have to go through and spend some time looking at those changes, such as the virtualization manager and the Docker manager as well, and see how that might be useful in the future. And perhaps there will be some videos on that, but I'm going to take a break from being in front of the camera, and I will likely have uh, weekend news out either later tonight or it'll come out tomorrow morning, local time. And then we'll be back tomorrow night at 9:45 for another live stream, and maybe I'll switch up lighting a little bit and see if I can make it better in a pinch for tomorrow night's stream. And yeah, hopefully things will continue to improve, and I will continue to do some budgeting for the softbox, and maybe um, before the end of April I can have that in my possession. So, all right, let's see. I have 52 freedom units here north of you. All right. Only 1 degree. Uh, so, um, thanks for the live stream. You're very welcome. Well, I hope this was fun for everybody. I don't generally script these. So, and this one I didn't even have bullet points. I just kind of had an idea of what I wanted to talk about today. And we've improvised a little bit here and there as we've gone through. And so hopefully, hopefully I didn't scare anybody away to the point where they won't come back tomorrow night. So, all right. On that note, everybody enjoy the rest of your day. Um, and Tony says he'll watch the part that he missed on replay. Very good. Appreciate it. Budgeting. This is America. Put it on plastic. I'm trying to pay down the plastic, Joe. I'm trying to pay down the plastic. So some of us have a single income at this point in time. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, uh, I'll have to look at where things are at. I may consider putting that on plastic, but I'm going to think about it for at least a week before I pull the trigger. Um, Usually, if I think about something for a week before I pull the trigger, I can keep myself out of trouble. So, all right, everybody, have a great afternoon or evening, where whatever the case might be, and we'll be back tomorrow night at 9:45 p.m. local time. Have a good one, everybody.